with the people, Donald Trump can't do nothing, because we the power. All power to the people. Love you guys. Peace and blessings. Say her name.
Have you been to the gynecologist yet? That was the question my mom asked me at 15 when I informed her about a change that I had noticed in my body. Now, I'd like to start off by saying I am not by nature a particularly private person, but by profession I am extremely private. I'm not the type to divulge facts about my personal life. I am fiercely protective of my family, and I have no social media presence. But I feel that in the face of this current political climate, it is vital that we all make it our mission to get really, really personal. So yes, at 15, I had been to a gynecologist. I was living in New York City and had visited a Planned Parenthood there. My mother moved to California a few years before. My brother Hunter and I were living with my father, and at 15, I had been working in the entertainment industry for 8 or so years and had been fortunate enough to be eligible for private health insurance through my union. Our family struggled financially. We'd been on public assistance for several years, and I was primarily responsible for making my own doctor's appointments. But still, I was nervous about taking this next stride towards womanhood, and it was actually my clinician at Planned Parenthood who suggested I speak with my pediatrician if I was seeking a referral. She was compassionate and professional and told me that she was happy to treat me for regular checkups and, when the time came, for STD and cancer screenings. No judgment, no questions asked. Planned Parenthood provided a safe place where I could be treated with gentle guidance. Now, I may have been 15 and surprisingly self-sufficient, but I'm sure there isn't one person here who has not been helped by Planned Parenthood directly or otherwise. When I knew I was coming to speak on behalf of women's reproductive and health issues, every single one of my girlfriends had a story about Planned Parenthood. They saved me so many times. One of my best girlfriends confided in me, saying, "They saved my ass and some other parts too." When I found out I had precancerous signs I never would have known about without my annual checkups, and her speech grew more emphatic and emotional as she described how the organization had helped her decide between treatment options. She was able to make some difficult decisions, deciding what was right for her body, and her then partner without anyone else's interference. My sister also used Planned Parenthood services for years after moving states. She'd been living her whole life in New York City, pursuing her dream to move to California. She had no contacts and no health insurance, but was able to regularly see a doctor at a Planned Parenthood clinic for screenings, advice, birth control, and checkups. For the more than 2.5 million patients a year that rely on Planned Parenthood services for cancer and STD screenings, birth control, safe abortion, and pregnancy planning, these are uncertain and anxious times. Lawmakers in 24 states have tried to block patients from receiving care at Planned Parenthood. Congress has voted to limit access to reproductive services 9 times. Boo! Yes, boo! There are very real and devastating consequences to limiting access to what should be considered basic health care. For millions of Americans, Planned Parenthood is often the only trustworthy and affordable clinic providing safe education, sex education, safe abortion, and life-saving services. President Trump, I did not vote for you. That said, I respect that you are our president-elect, and I want to be able to support you. But first, I ask that you support me. Support my sister, support my mother, support my best friend and all of our girlfriends. Support the men and women here today that are anxiously awaiting to see how your next moves may drastically affect their lives. Support my daughter, who may actually, as a result of the appointments you have made, grow up in a country that is moving backwards, not forwards, and who may potentially not have the right to make choices for her body and her future that your daughter Ivanka has been privileged to have. I ask you to support all women and our fight for equality in all things, including the fight to be recognized as individuals who know better for ourselves what is right for our bodies, better than any elected official, popular or otherwise. It is a great honor for me to be speaking here in front of all of you today. After the result of this November's election, I felt as a woman, as an American citizen, a great weight bearing down on my shoulders, the feeling that the near future would present many obstacles, confrontation, and division. My immediate thought after hearing the election results was, oh man, we have so much work to do. But once the heaviness began to subside, I realized that an opportunity has presented itself to make real, long-term change, not just for future Americans, but in the way that we view our responsibilities to get involved with and stay active in our communities. Let this weight not drag you down, but help to get your heels stuck in. I pledge my relentless devotion to support women's health care initiatives. I will not stop fighting to make basic women's health care available to all. I believe with every fiber of my being that the conversations that we have with our partners and our doctors about what we do with our bodies and our future should not be made fodder for any politician, political agenda, lawmaker, and for-profit corporation. We must stand up for what are our basic human rights and always move forward, never backwards. The current political administration benefits from taking the power away from us. Don't give up your power. Don't let the feelings of helplessness make you complacent. I urge you all to make a difference on the ground. Volunteer. Volunteer with organizations that help women seeking a safe place to make some of the most difficult decisions of their lives. Donate to causes.
Good afternoon, family. My name is Carmen Perez, and I am the Executive Director of the Gathering for Justice. I am truly humbled to join and serve you as one of the national co-chairs of the Women's March, alongside my sistren, Tamika Mallory, Linda Sarsour, and Bob Bland, as well as the many, many people who have worked so hard to make today happen. Thank you. I stand here as a Chicana Mexican-American woman, as a daughter and granddaughter of farm workers, as a family member of incarcerated and undocumented people, as a survivor of domestic violence, as a woman who knows pain and who has transformed her pain into gifts. Gifts that have allowed me to see light in the darkest places. For 20 years, I have worked in America's prisons. I have seen families being torn apart, locked up in cages, many stripped of their rights, their freedoms, and ultimately their lives. And the majority are black and brown, including women, women who I call sisters. This has to end. This will end because of you, because of us. Today, I join you all and raise my voice loud and clear to say we had had enough. We know what the problems are. We know who our enemy is. We know what the injustice have done to us and those we love. But to overcome them, we have to stand in solidarity. We have to listen to each other and know that we always have more to learn. To protect each other, we don't always have to agree, but we have to organize and stand together. We must remember that unity of action does not mean that we have to be unanimous in thought, but that injury to one is injury to all. I am reminded of the words of my mentor and boss, Harry Belafonte. Those who are working towards the liberation of our people are only subject to friendship and support. Those who are being divisive are playing the enemy's game. And so our responsibility is to find our way. There's an entry point for all of us to be involved in this movement. So get involved, stay involved, and keep your eyes on the prize. Know that those closest to the problem are also closest to the solution. Trust them. Stand with them in your actions. Because I believe what Fannie Lou Hamer said, when I liberate myself, I liberate others. And if you don't speak, ain't nobody gonna speak on behalf of you. And to those threatening us and our livelihood, I say, si no nos dejan soñar, no los vamos a dejar dormir. If they don't let us dream, we will not let you sleep. We stand here on day one of the new administration, refusing to let them sleep, not for 1 second. We will hold all our officials, whether elected or appointed, accountable. There are some in this country who say we should adjust to work with and adjust to hatred. But Dr. Martin Luther King spoke of the power of being maladjusted to an unjust society. We will not adjust to hatred and bigotry. We will resist Islamophobia, xenophobia, white supremacy, sexism, racism, misogyny, and ableism. We will be brave, intentional, and unapologetic in addressing the intersections of our identities. And collectively, we will stand up for the most marginalized among us, because they are us. We will not wait for some magical being to rise up and save us. We are not helpless. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are who we need. When I see my liberation bound in your liberation, and you and mine, together we will get free. So remember, when you go back home, think about why you marched. And organize, organize, organize. Si se puede. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I am so proud to stand here with all of you today, to be in service to you, because this was truly a service opportunity for all of us who work for you. It has been such an honor to work alongside the co-chairs, Bob Bland, Linda Salsor, and the birthday girl who you just heard from, Carmen Perez. Today is not a concert. It is not a parade, and it is not a party. Today is an act of resistance. Now, some of you came here to protest one man. I didn't come here for that. I came here to address those of you who say you are of good conscience. To those of you who experience a feeling of being powerless, disparaged, victimized, antagonized, threatened, and abused. To those of you who for the first time felt the pain that my people have felt since they were brought here with chains shackled on our legs. Today I say to you, welcome to my world. Welcome to our world. I stand here as a black woman, the descendant of slaves. My ancestors literally nursed our slave masters. Through the blood and tears of my people, we built this country. America cannot be great without me, you, and all of us who are here today. Today you may be feeling aggrieved, but know that this country has been hostile to its people for a long time. For some of you, it is new. For some of us, it is not so new at all. Today, I am marching for black and brown lives, for Sandra Bland, for Philando Castile, for Tamir Rice, for Ayanna Stanley Jones, for Eric Garner, for Michael Brown, for Trayvon Martin, and for those 9 people who were shot at the Emmanuel African Methodist Episcopal Church. We have a chance, brothers and sisters, to get this thing right. We can do it if women rise up and take this nation back. When you go back home, remember how you felt. What made you that instinct, that gut, that said I gotta get on a bus, a plane, a train, no matter what, to protect my children? That feeling, take it back with you to wherever it is that you came from today. You have awoken a new and renewed spirit. And I am so excited to be a part of this with all of you. But to be quiet in our whisper, to speak low about it, is not going to get it done. We must be bold the way you were bold to come here in these large numbers today. When you feel that we are not taking care of one another properly, put your feelings aside, put your pride aside, and stand up for the most marginalized people in this society. Because if you stand for them, you stand for all. Dr. King said, I will not remember the harsh words of my enemies. I will remember the silence of my friends. God bless you.
Assalamu alaikum, may peace be upon you, brothers and sisters. My name is Linda Sarsour, and I am one of the national co-chairs for the Women's March on Washington. I stand here before you, unapologetically Muslim American, unapologetically Palestinian American, unapologetically from Brooklyn, New York. Sisters and brothers, you are what democracy looks like. Sisters and brothers, you are my hope for my community. I will respect the presidency, but I will not respect this president of the United States of America. I will not respect an administration that won an election on the backs of Muslims and black people and undocumented people and Mexicans and people with disabilities and on the backs of women. Many of our communities, including my community, the Muslim community, has been suffering in silence for the past 15 years under the Bush administration and under the Obama administration. The very things that you were outraged by during this election season, the Muslim registry programs, the banning of the Muslims, the dehumanization of the communities that I come from, that has been our reality for the past 15 years. Sisters and brothers, if you have come here today as your first time at a march, I welcome you. I ask you to stand and continue to keep your voices loud for black women, for Native women, for undocumented women, for our LGBT